Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 191 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian. We have our players here today, same as always. We have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I just think for ease, I'll probably do this a couple times. Kyle, tell us about your character.
I'm playing Fen Varmascaria, the Wood Elf Ranger Rogue.
Perfect. Mac, tell us about your character.
Me. I am Mac. I'm playing Nana Hemming's daughter, variant human fighter ranger.
Perfect. Katie, tell us about your character.
I'm playing Nyx Lilliput, our druid.
Perfect. Joshua.
I'm playing Roshan Fronason, the sad Bardlock.
Aw, cute. And I almost said your character's name because I looked dead at it before talking. Gregory, would you like to tell us about your character?
Oh, well, that would be Killed, the Big Pot. He is our
Or
party's Furbolg Paladin.
it makes it sound like there's another paladin. Not yet.
Mm,
Not yet.
There's still time.
mm,
There's still
there's
time.
still time. Time will tell.
Anything could
And
happen.
anything could happen. And if somebody is listening to the audio, they can give me a thumbs up that everything's neat. Great. Love to hear it. uh, she understands technology. She's smart. Hi guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a little recap, and I think we can get back into things. Currently, the party is on a bit of an adventure, one could say. Currently looking for a cultist by the name of Bosch, also referred to as the Guard, who is intent on ending life on the continent, life on Midgard, because that's the way it should be. Things should be led by corruption and what comes of that, instead of the people who are fighting tooth and nail against the soil. Um, he believes that we should lean into it and it's time to stop fighting. And he's going to make sure of that. But the party says, not today, buddy, and are all currently on the hunt for him and his two remaining generals, Sunny and Alvilda, who seem to be off looking for something or finding, acquiring, seeking, maybe taking a vacation before everything pops off. Who knows? But everyone's off doing what they do. Bosch is a little MIA at the moment, um, after attempting to communicate with his god and then grabbing an arrow and stabbing it up under his chin. Um, you guys haven't been able to make any contact with him. Anyways, the party's currently split. Uh, three of our heroes, Nyx, Roshan, and Keld, are currently staying in the dilapidated home of Shelvediro, who is an expert of planar travel, as you believe the cult is doing something involving the planes. And Fen and Nana have traveled to Hoyerben, where they are looking for a little camp of cultists looking for answers or maybe just to blow off steam. I don't know what y'all are up to. But on that note, I'm going to go back to Fen and Nana, who are currently on their way out of town. Um, it's easy enough to do. There's not some terrible blockade or big line or checkpoint. You are easily able to, on foot, begin making your way out of town. Um, you know that you are hindered slightly because you are on foot. You only can move so quickly. But you are presented with your path forward. You are welcome to take the road and kind of go to your midpoint if you are so inclined, and then veer off where you think the cart that is owned by Corrine, group friend, where it would have been taken off the road, and then go that way to it. Or you can start off the road entirely and just start kind of in this area, not super heavily wooded. You can probably jog and like dive behind a tree if so inclined, but it is pretty wide open where you are currently.
Well, I suppose we could either go on ahead and break off here or carry on for as long as the road will take us and see whether or not that will provide us an extra little bit of time saved. I know the both of us can handle underbrush fine. It's not like it's terribly dense here anyway, but
I think if there were two people that could move efficiently through these woods, it would be you and I, but wondering if there's something to be gained from potentially seeing the sort of folk that are traveling on the road. Maybe, I don't know, leave it to the toss of a coin.
I'm
I
alright with that.
also like the rest of the party to be able to find us eventually.
You're not wrong. Perhaps then, in the name of something of a breadcrumb trail for the party, why don't we head on along the road and see what comes up, see whether or not there's something we can leave as a call sign for them, let them know which way we're heading, if nothing else.
All right, that'll work. Fenn will make his way over to a tree trunk and it's worked before. He'll throw the Lady Satyr sign up there with
Sure.
with his kukri.
Yeah, I was curious what the call sign was going to be.
I mean, we all know the Lady Satyr sign. At the very least,
Oh.
Roshan for sure will, and I'm certain we've talked about Saga before with Keldon, with Nyx, so.
I am sure Roshan would at least recognize the symbol. So you guys are making your way down the path. Are you guys aiming for speed? Are you like, the thing is, if you do move at a fast pace, the best you can, you are pretty positive you can get to where you're going before you lose the sun.
I think the more sun we have to observe what we're looking for, the better, don't you?
Well, you maybe.
Yeah, fair enough. All the more reason I'm inclined towards us making a quick move unless you want to do all the looking for the both of us.
I'm happy to do the looking. I kind of would like to appear not out of sorts here. To try to
Don't
blend
want
in
to
with
appear like we're in a hurry.
other folk that might be traveling. I think best we both keep our heads on the proverbial swivel, just in case we're made targets by someone out there as well.
Not a bad point. Suppose at the first sign of something especially bothersome, let's go ahead and leg it off the road, see what cover we can find, yeah?
That'll work.
All right. Let's head on.
So I think, we'll move at a reasonable pace. As
Yeah, not
two,
the fastest, but we're
folk.
reasonably...
Yeah, two folk on foot are wont to do without looking like they're, trying to evade something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
First off, just for my entertainment, give me deception to look like you're definitely not trying to go. You're just super normal people
Mess
on
up
the
a cult.
road. It's just funny to me. And rolling dice is fun.
I got a 19. That's good because I don't add anything to that. So
Mac left us.
that's inconvenient.
A
Or is
little
she
bit.
still here?
He
and
said, "I'll
disabled
roll
us?
in hell."
Jillian, how dare you? Leaves chat. Actually, go fuck
She's
yourself.
just stealthing.
She rolled really well.
That roll was amazing. I didn't even see you. I'll talk to Fen for a bit and see if this writes itself. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'll go talk to Team Slumber Party. But you're going to start making your way forward at a decent pace. How about you go ahead and if you're keeping eyes out on the road, as you said, your head is on a swivel, go ahead and give me a perception check.
17.
17. Okie dokie. Okay. There are a decent number of people on the road. A lot of them if they present like they are traveling with something like goods, uh, or seem to have some affluence, there do seem to be mercenary types with them. There are also people who are just in a cart, seem to be more family types or just lone travelers going about their business. Um, go ahead and give me, um, can give me an insight check if you want more details into them or if you're cool with the baseline.
9.
You know, you get the baseline and we're all happy. It looks like there's some people that also left town around the same time as you, but their cart's very meandery and doesn't like pass you. It just seems to slow. This horse is slowly pulling this cart down the road as best it can. Um, and you make your way forward. I think I might have to go talk to Team Slumber Party.
Completely understandable.
I think I might have to go talk to the other team. Let me scroll. So back at Shelvadiro's place, a house maybe once of affluence, now a bit in a state of disrepair. Um, Snow inside the house in some places where it probably shouldn't be. Um, you all are currently in a room of these beautiful, sort of ethereal uh, silk fabrics that hang from corners of the room, showing you different uh, planes, different realms that Shelvadiro has traveled to and is able to keep track of certain aspects of through these sheets. Is there anything you guys wanted to accomplish or questions for me? If I did not answer your question last time, oopsie doopsie, you can ask it again and I'll do my best. uh, but is there anything you guys want to do while you are here?
I think I asked all of the questions that I had about
Mhm.
it.
Perfect.
I think we were just taking as many notes as we could, and by we, Roshan was taking all the notes.
Be true.
And I think if Keld comes back in the room, it may look to him as if nothing has changed because they just had a little chat and then went back to work.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Totally normal.
Hmm.
Hey, Keld, just roll me insight for vibes.
Hmm.
If you can pick up on subtle nuance.
1 second. I, a fool, do not have D&D Beyond up.
Hey guys, this isn't sponsored by D&D Beyond.
To be
Also,
fair, I
because
thought it was Monday until like
I'm mad
5
at them.
minutes ago.
I'm mad at D&D Beyond right now because I don't understand what I'm looking at anymore, and it's confusing, and I don't get it. And making characters is hard and weird, and I don't want to play the new D&D. I want to play 5e, and I don't. What is Magic Point? I don't know what Magic Point is. Don't change things on my weapon proficiencies. I'm confused.
All right.
Is there a button to go back? I'll find it if there is.
21.
Yes. Well, thanks, D&D Beyond. At least you still give me the numbers that I want to look at, I guess. Uh, Keld, maybe there's a difference in energy, a little bit.
He might note that, but I think
Mm.
then his stomach growls really loudly and he is distracted.
Mm.
We could go use his kitchen, right?
He did say he has a kitchen.
Yeah, if you two want to make some dinner and turn in for the night, I'll probably be here staring at these for most of the night. So
Have fun.
Yeah, I'll help with dinner. I'll go help. I've looked at this enough.
and when you say have fun, like Roshan does smile because this is fun.
Mhm.
Looking at magical map all night,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't think of anything
Fun
better
night.
to do. TBH.
It's
I mean,
fun.
he's seen Rashawn stay up late reading books and shit, so
Yeah, this is the vibe.
Nerd.
This is what this man wants to do.
But what else is fun is go being nosy in the rest of this man's house, and that's what we're gonna do.
Mm. Would you like to kind of take a meandering walk around to get to the kitchen?
Why not? He's downstairs, I think.
He's somewhere.
He was downstairs.
He's probably still down there. It's pretty easy to tell where Shelvedero is most of the time. But you two sort of make a long meandering walk. The thing you pick up on is that you guys didn't get to read his book. But like the word passionate was used when Nana was describing them. And if all you had was just the elements in his home to go off of, and if you were able to squint and ignore the disrepair, you could believe that to be true just based on that. There are pieces of script that are framed and held, preserved, old texts talking about the plains, the earlier speculation of what Shelvedero believes to have perfected in their book. There is artwork, there is pieces of foliage, there are bugs pinned in frames. And then there are just the occasional strange, very normal looking thing. Like there is a brick that is put up on a pedestal, looks like a very average brick next to a hammer that looks incredibly normal. And it is just a strange line of things that don't exactly fit the vibe. Um, but what you do come across is a display where it looks like it's inset into the wall, and it has, you see inside of it 4 very ornate tuning forks presented proudly on the wall. Uh, it is easy enough to also tell that they have not been touched in some time. But it seems that Shelvedero is in possession of multiple tuning forks for planar travel. And you make your way around slowly, casually, and eventually find your way to a kitchen that does not seem to have been used also in some time. It doesn't look like Shelvedero has been cooking for themselves and has been surviving on something, but certainly not a home cooked meal. Keld, with the supplies that you both have from being in town and going to different stores and the very basics that are in Shelvedero's kitchen, you're able to make whatever you are so inclined to want to make.
I think a nice soup would be easy.
Okay. You two begin clang-clanging around the kitchen.
Slowly cleaning things as I.
Yeah. Nix is scrubbing down the stove, like, okay.
If we're gonna use this, I know this.
This kitchen needs some attention.
Cleaning utensils and bowls and making sure that it is an acceptable place to cook some nice soup for a cold winter evening. At one point, Shelvediro does like peek their head in. From the angle at first, it is only that like ethereal, like high elf, like pulled up taunt face that leans in, and then the rest of the face comes in, and is just watching the two of you for a moment. Um, right. Um, Nyx,
Mm,
you said you were a druid.
yes.
Um, I'm not sure if this is something in your repertoire, but um, the silks, um, they are an extension of the scry spell. It is a way that I am constantly connected to the other realms and can view them. And if I were so inclined to wish to perceive something more intently in the realms, this makes it much more likely to occur. I'm not sure if that's something you're interested in, but I thought I should let you know.
I can do that in the morning. I did a lot this morning. So if we can stay a little bit in the morning tomorrow, I could do that.
I will not immediately kick you out of my home.
Great.
I'll give you the 10 minutes or whatever. And turns and makes their way fully
Checkouts at 10:30 on the dot.
We're gonna have a bad time if I have to check in on you. If I have to kick you out of the room, the room which has a ceiling, you're welcome. Um, but you can hear the clink of glasses. It sounds like Shelvediro is making themselves another drink, and then gets comfortable in the lounge area. Roshan is currently immersed in the beauty of knowledge and gathering information. Um, Nyx has been given some new information, maybe useful in the morning, maybe not. And Keld's making soup. Uh, and occasionally having to like push Nyx's hand away, be like, you can't, you can't touch that. You don't get to touch the food elements. Please stop. Um, uh, Anything in particular from this team at this moment, or is it just like we're gonna get everybody at the dinner table for soup in a bit?
We're gonna get everybody fed, okay?
We're gonna get everybody
I'll go
fed.
clean the table then.
Mhm.
So I keep
Good
getting
idea.
kicked out.
Perfect.
Okay. You go and clean the table. Uh, do you call both solitary nerds down to have dinner? Yeah. Roshan, a little over an hour into this solitary moment of knowledge, you are called down to dinner. It wasn't a question. You were called down to dinner.
He was hoping that someone might just bring him a bowl, but he'll go join dinner.
Eat next to the silks?
No,
Are you crazy?
the bowls are on the table.
um, Shelvediro will awkwardly come to the kitchen table and will sit and observe his soup. Thank you. And then like fiddle with it.
I think Roshan would make idle chatter with him during dinner, just about questions he has about the maps and making little logical leaps and running them by him.
Mm-hmm. Shelvediro is always pretty content to discuss the planes in this way, and it seems a pretty good distraction. Um, and they do get seconds on their soup. They seem like distracted and eating, and it seems that
Keld was just
Uh,
watching to make sure he at least took a bite.
it's just staring so intently. uh, but all of you sit around the table together. Uh, a group, I suppose, of new friends, as Nyx and Roshan have started over. Um, and you all enjoy a meal together. Meanwhile, back on the trail, um, Rangers are making their way forward. There are people about going to and fro on their business. Um, you guys are making your way forward. Nana, I'll let you do your perception check.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. Brilliant. My perception. Whoo. 28.
Okay. So you begin making your way forward, and as Fen did, you take note of a cart that left town a similar-ish time to you.
Mhm.
Not weird. A lot of people live there. People have places to be. But there's just like something in your mind. It's like, I don't feel like they should be going slower. I feel like they should have overtaken us.
Hmm.
You can tell based on the fact that the cart seems to get closer and then slows down, and then seems to get closer when it begins to pick up speed and like slows down again to try to keep distance, but continues behind you.
Well, I wouldn't look now. I do believe we have a tail. Not certain, but likely. They seem to be keeping a low profile. Do we think we should break off sooner than we were intending later?
What if the next point that we've got some decent cover on the opposite side of the road than we intend to go, we make a quick hasty retreat into without being too obvious, maybe just like we have to go make water or something like that,
Sure.
into the cover, up a rope trick, and once we have that concealment, and see if anybody comes to pursue.
Works for me.
Okay. You guys keep going forward, normal,
Yeah.
casual,
Yeah.
everything's chill.
Yeah.
It takes a minute. Eventually you get to a spot where you're like, okay, there's enough cover that I think I could attempt this trick. You also can time it with when the cart seems to back off, and you
Yeah.
have a longer period to try and accomplish this goal.
Mm.
Both of you heal off, and you're going to attempt to go into a rope trick once you are out of view.
Yep.
So go ahead and give me stealth checks.
Cool. My dice do love to tell a story. It's a nat one, so
I got a 25.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Fen, you're like, I'm so fucking stealthy. You're already
Yep.
a rope
Yep.
trick. The thing is, you have to focus on yourself when you are attempting to climb rope and disappear into the rope trick. I mean, Nana, you follow suit. You run
Yeah.
after, real
Sure.
casual like, and
Mhm.
climb up into the rope trick.
All right.
And
I have to imagine I like ran face first into a branch on my way. I don't know, something.
up to you, your shoulder could have bumped a branch on the way
Mm.
up, maybe. Adrenaline kicks in. You climb this rope. You climb in. Fen pulls the rope up behind you, and you both sit and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Time starts to pass. Few minutes. Both of you go ahead and give me perception checks.
Okay.
Let's roll dice.
14.
26.
You see the shadow of what looks to be a figure, like the way the sun is hitting them, moving through the forest in your general area.
Okay.
Somebody has gotten off of a cart, or maybe somebody else just had to take a pee. You don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows?
But somebody else seems to have made their way off the trail in the same direction as you. And
Is there a way to like kind of like lean angle around the entrance to the rope trick to try and get eyes on the individual, or are they just not within view yet?
they are currently not within view. If you want to be in view, you can stick your head out.
I'm gonna hang on to that till later. Not gonna pop that just yet, but I think Nana is just sort of like catches Fen's eye, just kind of like let's wait. If this happens to be a misunderstanding, if this happens to be somebody innocent, we don't want to jump them. If it happens to be one of Bosch's generals, well, let's see what we can do with it.
Sunny walks into view.
By golly.
I did it.
Aha!
Haha, all of you jump in.
Yeah, we set a trap. We did it.
She's like, I just had to pee, and you got
Ha
it. Couple more
Wouldn't
minutes
that be
pass.
great?
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be nice? A couple more minutes pass of just like watching and like listening to somebody move around in this area, and eventually they do come into view, fully cloaked, like holding it kind of close, and like slowly moving, and like it looks like they are actively looking for something, moving through the space.
Well, that would make sense. If they happened to be looking for people who disappeared off the road and came this way, can we tell what kind of body shape we're talking about? Is this a big person, a small person? Do they seem to be hale? Do they seem to be bent over? Do they seem sick?
You can roll insight.
I would like to. See what we can do. Find out. That is 21.
You would guess the person is younger. You do not think they are like hindered by age.
Okay.
They walk with a straight back. They walk carefully, as if trying to be a bit stealthy, actively on the hunt for something. They are wearing gloves and have their hood pulled forward, so it's not the easiest thing to perceive. They do seem to be armored and have a weapon on their person. It's sort of your up-down angle that makes it a bit
hard to
difficult, as
tell.
they have like made it to like under you.
Okay. All right.
And they're like, by golly.
Well, now when we are inside the rope trick, we can see out of it. Can people see up into it?
No,
They cannot. Okay.
that'd be a much different story, and I'd be like, hey, look at those two floating people in the sky, is what I'd be saying.
That would be wild. Okay. So,
I don't think we've ever talked about this before. I always kind of assumed that it's extra planar space, that
It
you could
is.
you can talk freely in there and not be heard on the outside.
That's
Oh.
what I would assume.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Well, Could wait for them to pass directly beneath us. I've only got but the one good hand, but if I drop down and get my one good hand on their weapon, and you drop down and draw yours, we'd have the drop on them, quite literally.
Hmm.
We don't have to harm them if they're not someone we don't want to harm, but
True enough. I'm only wondering whether or not they're the only one there.
They are
No.
directly below you right now.
Not an easy way for us to tell from this
Well.
angle, of course, but
3, 2, 1,
Yep.
go.
Okay, both of you just wing open the door of the rope trick and full on dive at this pursuer.
not looking to like maim, looking to like incapacitate, disarm, get our bearings.
I don't know. If two people jump at me from 10 feet in the air, I just feel like something in my body's giving out. But we'll see. How about? Yes, sir. How about both of you give me? Sorry, my son is screaming.
It's what he does.
Okay, I want athletics from both of you. This is like a grapple, so we got
Alright.
there. I haven't played D&D in a million years. I'm like, what do you do when you're trying to grab somebody?
21.
Okay. They're also going to roll athletics.
It's a 19 from me.
With
I have a plus
disadvantage because
0.
they're surprised.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because there's mostly because surprised, and there's two of you, and you came from nowhere out of the sky.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, they can roll a capability. This is some of the best disadvantage I've ever rolled, but what did you guys get?
21.
19.
Well, then what's the point of me? This figure takes it like a champ, but is
Whew.
absolutely bodied. Fen is able to like get on top, like get a hand on the weapon, like pin
Yeah.
down on it,
Yep.
reaching for their weapon. It's at
Yep.
the ready.
Yep.
Got
him at a standstill.
Fully gets this person down. You are greeted with just oomph is what you're greeted with, as this person just fully eats dirt
Okay.
under the weight of two people from 10 feet up. I'm giving
Makes
them
sense.
damage.
Oh dear.
I'm
Well,
giving them
since Fen
damage.
has them secured, Nana wants
Oh.
to look around and see if there's anybody else around.
Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Uh-huh.
This figure begins to panic as they are just like fully like hood down,
Oh.
body held. So the weapon is held. They are going to free one arm out from under themselves and reach back and place their hand back against Fen. They are going to do inflict wounds.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna do it at a 4th level.
I would assume this does require a somatic or verbal component, or no?
Yep, they can
Okay.
talk.
Yeah. Nana hears them starting to cast. I think she will make an attempt to be like, we're not looking to hurt you. Please. We just want to
Um,
find out what's going on.
So sorry, this is happening before you say
Yep.
that.
Okay.
With a 19 on the dice, this is surely hitting.
Yikes.
Roll my dice, D&D Beyond. Ooh, golly. Ah, shit. This hand reaches back and clasps onto you. And it is like a shock of electricity that moves through your system, Fen, and you can just like feel the veins in your neck begin to bulge, and you can feel like a blood vessel burst in your eye. You take
Oh, shit.
39 points of necrotic damage.
Holy
I would
fuck.
love to evade half of that.
Is an evasion just for? Am I making shit up?
It's a cunning action, or no. One of them's for areas of effect, and the other one's for things
Yeah, one
that
of them's for
directly
like
target me.
deck saves, and then one's for
Yeah.
It is a direct target of you. Sure, you can take half. I'm not gonna look it
Alright.
up right now. Got the strength. Yeah, take half. And you just muscle through this.
Oof.
Nana, you're like, hey, we don't want to hurt you. You watch like the blood vessels burst in Fen's
Jesus.
eyes. And this figure goes into like full struggle mode, and meaning that the cloak and the hood all start moving around. You're able to get a pretty good glance at Yarn.
Oh no! Oh my god, no! Oh my god, no! Jan, I'm so sorry! Jan, oh my god. Okay, Jan. That was on us. We thought that you might be one of the cult members that we were coming out here to stop. I'm sorry.
Fucking ouch.
Yeah. Fen, we'll get you fixed up in a minute. Jan, it's me, it's Nana. This is Fen. We were being followed by somebody on the road, somebody sort of keeping a certain distance away from us. We were worried we were being followed by members of that cult.
Yeah, I was following you. Can you get off of me?
Of course. Sorry. Yep. Nana will definitely get off of Yarn and help her up and dust her off and try and help as best she can. Very sorry, really.
Uncanny dodge is the ability, just for the record.
Yeah, I believe it's a thing. I just all that rogue stuff has such specific wording, but I don't have the time to look at it. It's like, hi, who has the time? So yeah, take half. It's chill, and probably correct. Yarn gets up and sort of like dusts herself off and like kind of cleans the dirt from her face, and it like messes up the skull makeup that she has a bit.
Oh no. Nana will kind of like offer her a little small pocket mirror from her pack to let her help her fix that up.
Yeah, sorry, I was following you because I could tell that you're in imbalance. And she's like currently like fixing her makeup.
How do you mean?
Well, first off, as we're talking, I am going to start making my way out of the woods. And
It's a good idea.
goes back to the road.
Yep.
Where her cart is now unmanned.
Got it. Yeah, Nana
so-
and I think Fen are reasonably expected to follow.
Yeah, she's not just gonna stay in. She just met you guys. She's not gonna be like, let's talk in the woods.
No!
So she
No.
makes her way out. Originally the chosen of the Mother of Balance had this ability, but because I'm filling in, I've been blessed with it, where I can observe someone or something and tell if it is a threat to balance. And you and your friend Hi
Hi.
are
Unsymmetrical. Is that the imbalance you're saying? I'm not the same on both sides.
neither am I, and she smiles. No, it's more of a in the grand scheme kind of things. I don't know why both of you are imbalances, so that's why I started following you. When I met with the cultists, they were also imbalance, and so I just thought that maybe I would neither help nor hinder, and just watch for balance reasons.
All right. I don't see why not. It really, well, I don't know if our ultimate goal is necessarily anything so lofty as cosmic balance, but we'd like to see our homes safe. We'd like to see life safeguarded. We'd like to see threat to simple people stopped.
I don't know what to tell you. You're both imbalance, negative imbalance in the grand scheme. But maybe that just happens sometimes. And she like makes her way over and climbs up into the cart. Uh, would you happen to like a ride?
Well, we will be breaking off from the road at some point, but might not be a bad thing for us to make our way a little more easily and less conspicuously by ourselves.
I wouldn't mind the company as long as you promise not to do that again. I promise not to jump out of the sky again.
That
The same for me.
That seems pretty fair. Um, and if anything akin to that happens again, I will defend myself.
You should. You definitely should.
And she kind of like shakes her hand a bit and climbs into the cart with all of you, and you all begin making your way, new friends down the road.
Hooray!
Not as much of a slumber party as the other group, but still on your way.
Hmm.
You are also able to move a good bit faster and less conspicuously with the cart and move forward at a solid pace. Eventually, you get to an area where you believe this is probably where the cart was ambushed, at least within a stretch of a mile. You're like, it was probably around here,
Okay.
based on the information given to you by Corrine.
Mhm.
You are welcome to just make your way off the road and try and find that last marker, that last location. You have that marked pretty well enough to have a good idea of where to go.
Yeah. I think now's probably a good time for us to break off. Jan, thank you so much for your assistance, especially after our faux pas. I wish you all the safety. Well, were you... I know you were planning to follow along, but were you wanting to go...
Yeah, I was still following. I didn't think you were going to cause any imbalances just on the road casually.
Suppose that makes sense. All right. I don't doubt you're abundantly able to defend yourself, but do you wish to move closer with us? I would not want for you to wind up injured.
Oh, well, it seems kind of silly now if I'm just following behind you like I'm stalking you, which I was. She climbs out of the cart and you watch as the horse's body like stiffens and like turns to wood and begins to
Oh.
slowly like kind of move in on itself and turns into a little toy horse with a cart. And she picks it up and puts it in her pocket. Okay.
Oh. Fantastic. I doubt
All
Thick
right,
Biscuit would like that, but...
All right, lead the way. It's okay. He's not real.
Oh, so statue animated becomes a horse. Very
Yeah.
handy.
I think I actually didn't dwell on it too hard, and I guess I will. And she puts it in her pocket and will spiral about that for the walk.
Sorry. Onward we go, I suppose.
Okay.
Nana, do you want to keep an eye out for traps? I'll keep an eye out for people.
Sounds good to me.
Jan, just so you know, we are investigating the site of a probable attack, and there might still be hostiles nearby. So just keep an eye out. I don't want you walking into something you're not prepared for.
Okay. She seems to like understand that this is not like a fun and games thing, and even with her whimsy is like, yeah, I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna follow and I'm gonna look around. Which one of you is looking for traps?
Me.
All right, Nana, yours is investigation. Fen, yours is perception, and Girl will also do a perception check for funsies. But I don't know why she would. She's just here for fun.
24.
It's a 16 for me.
Okay. After some travel off the road for a while, you eventually make your way to an area where you're like, this is the last place the cart was. Somewhere around here. And at current first glances, no cart, no people, no traps.
Okay. I propose we take a look around, see whether or not we can see sign of anything being moved. If the cart was in this area and was moved, there's no way there wouldn't be some sign of it.
Footprints, hoof prints, wheel ruts, sign
Something.
of a scuffle.
Broken branches.
Somebody is welcome to give me survival with advantage, or both of you can roll survival.
I can take that.
I think yours is probably going to be the better survival. Mine's just +9.
That is a 23.
Okay. You begin to look over the area. Doesn't seem like too much of a scuffle took place here. This definitely seemed to just be a place where the cart sat for an extended period of time.
Like there's some dead grass in a spot.
You're able to pick up on an extended stay of cartwheels. Looking over the area, you can see where there may have been a scuffle, though did not seem to be quite a big one.
Didn't leave a lot of collateral damage.
Or it need not be a big scuffle. From your info from Corrine, there was only one person manning this cart.
True.
You are able to pick up on a solid direction that this cart
Okay.
traveled in.
Okay. All right,
And
good.
are welcome to follow if so inclined.
I think that is our best heading yet. Right along there.
Go ahead and leave another Lady Satyr symbol.
I think that we can say that we left one at the point where we broke off from the road,
Sure.
too, yeah. We're leaving breadcrumbs for the team.
Yeah, no problem. You leave another marker and you all begin to make your way forward. As we begin to travel into the woods to find this missing cart and maybe some cultists, we're gonna do a skill challenge. You all
Oh,
missed
so no
it.
wonder
I
we needed
know
3
you
people.
did. You missed it.
We love it.
So you are going to need 5 successes before 3 failures.
'Kay.
Yarn has the ability to give an advantage for 1 roll. So you have to call it before you roll that you want Yarn's advantage. If anybody at any point rolls a nat 20, Yarn can like double up and be like, you get an extra advantage from Yarn. So she is just assisting in whatever you guys do. Baseline, all of the DCs are going to be 20 as you are trying to pursue snow-covered, long hidden cart tracks. But if you have an
challenge,
ability
but-
or spells that you'd like to use, that may lower the DC. But you need 5 successes before 3 failures. What's up?
I have an idea for one.
Sure.
I would like, by way of using my mage hand cantrip, to try and brush away a bit of the obscuring snow from potentially some evidence that will lead us more directly on our track. Don't know if that would classify strictly as...
You pick the skill. What skill would you want?
Let's see. I'm gonna say with the mage hand brushing stuff away to clear away obstructions so I can see more clearly, I would like to do perception.
Okay. Um, I'll lower it a little bit. It's just a hand.
Yeah.
He's just giving you an extra hand.
Yeah.
I'll lower it to DC 18.
This mage hand just kind of like, I think, moves out from Nana's as she kind of like instinctively is like, I think over there, maybe if, and this rush of spores, same as Nyx has, kind of move out in the shape of Nana's hand and expand a little bit. It's a little bit bigger and swipes away some of the snow here. The roll, haha, 26.
Okay. With your extra hand and spores on team, you are able to continue moving forward at pace. Fen.
Well, that's new.
You're telling me.
Fen would like to use his tracking abilities as a ranger rogue scout and try his best to follow these tracks using survival.
Okay. Survival DC 20.
That'll more than do it. That is a 17 on the die plus 12, so
Yeah, that'll certainly
29.
do it.
29.
Yeah, both of you together easily making headway. You need 3 more successes before 3 failures. If you use the same skill again, the DC will go up.
Picking through.
And also, once both of you go, I think it's a start over. So if, like, Fen, you had an idea now, you're welcome to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fen, again, being a ranger and off-road-ish, lightly wooded, but we're still in wooded terrain. He wants to use nature to figure out if he were pulling a cart through this area, which way he'd want to take it, so they kind of stay on path as best as possible without having to clear away snow to do that.
Okay, give me nature DC 20.
It's a 24.
Well, there you go. You know, you put rangers in the woods and they're going to make their way through the woods. It's just what it is.
That's how they do.
This is a casual stroll for the team.
I think for mine, I would like to do with, let's see. This might be a long shot, but I'm gonna go for it. With my primeval awareness, I can expend a spell slot to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile, or within up to 6 miles if we're in my favored terrain, which is the forest, which I believe we are in.
Sure. What skill would you like to use?
For this, I would like to make use of insight. Try and be like, by way of reasoning through what I'm feeling through my primeval awareness, like, is this information leading me to think they're sticking on along this path, or is there a likely break along the way? Do I need to be aware of some kind of...
Insight DC 15.
Okay, that is... Actually, that's a 16.
Okay. And you need One more success before one failure, as you are able to maneuver your ways efficiently through the woods.
Okay.
Um,
Whoever feels something first.
Fan would like to, with advantage from Yarn,
Mhm.
investigate the tracks to see if he can figure out how many people might have been pulling this cart. Was it still drawn by a horse? If it was drawn by a horse, they're going to probably need to stop to water it somewhere. That might give them an idea of where, where to look, and if there's things, if there are places around that they might have stopped for a spell. Maybe there's more evidence of where they're going in that area.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me, DC 20.
14 on the dice, thank you, advantage. So plus 7, 21.
Yes.
Yeah. The three of you make your way forwards. Fen, there's a moment where you're like leaning forwards and like looking, and like Yarn is like leaning over you and also looking. And all of you make your way forwards. Fen, you believe that you're thinking at least a handful of people. Your first initial number is 5. That there were 5 people with this cart, which means maybe there was also somebody riding it, so maybe 6, 7. Who knows how many could have been in the back. But you can pick up on that a good handful of people may have traversed this path. You all begin to make your way forward, and the trees get a bit thicker, but you have a very good idea of where you are headed. Are you just pushing forward, going for speed, or are you starting to stealth now that you have a very good idea of where you are headed?
I think it would be better for us to maintain the advantage of surprise if we're able, so long as we can.
If there's as many of them as there appear to be, then probably want to do more observation than engagement.
Unless we know for certain we can pull something off.
You think you can cast Pass Without Trace on us?
I genuinely do not believe I can anymore. I've tried a couple of times. It doesn't go. So, I have a few other things, but I don't have that. I can certainly make a try with Detect Evil and Good. May be able to see whether or not there's desecrated ground once we're within 30 feet or so, or...
I think we're going to know once we're within 30 feet.
I rather thought so.
Hang on to your energy. We'll just stealth the old-fashioned way and be as careful as we can.
Okay. Yarn is going to cast Enhance ability on herself, so she is not rolling stealth with disadvantage.
It's for the best. I do have Bless. I have Bless, is what I have courtesy of my circlet. So
Lasts a minute.
Oh, it
so
does
it may not
last
be the
just a
best
minute.
for a long-term sort of deal.
Right. True.
So she also has Bless, but
lovely.
will be using Enhance abilities to just get the straight roll. So go ahead and roll stealth. I think you guys get advantage because you're in your preferred terrain and you've been in it for an hour. She will be rolling a straight roll with a normal enough modifier.
Ooh. 27.
22. This is the second consecutive roll that advantage has saved me from a nat 1.
Wow.
Ooh, buddy.
Advantage out here killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Yarn also rolls. You all begin to slowly make your way towards the unknown. And 3 people sit very casually, not awkwardly, over soup, which the dinner eventually comes to an end as the sun begins to set where they are. Time will be a little different for both of our parties. But with that being known and said, and what have you, we're going to take a break. Thank you guys for being here. I'll go get a snack and a drink, and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Dan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We just took our 10-minute break. Our rangers are off on a little ranger adventure, and currently at a very fun, not awkward sleepover. Nix, Roshan, and Keld finish some soup over some small talk or some heavy talk, depending on how you feel about talking about planar travel. Up to you. But eventually, Shelvadira will excuse themselves from the table and will go back to the lounge area, but still seems to give you just free access to the place. Is there anything before cozying up to bed or staring at these silks for a few more hours?
Roshan would send ascending to his sister,
Mhm.
and he would say, once you hear what we found, you're probably going to wish you'd come, but I think we're staying overnight. Catch you in the morning?
To catch you in the cuts off. Um, she'll figure it out. She's
Perfect.
smart.
Yeah.
The timing seems like contextual clue enough.
Who knows? Intelligence check from Rose. Okay. 14 on the dice. She's doing it. Her brain working. Um, you receive a response. I did some digging on your friend. Hermit, little over a year. Looks weird. Have fun. I'm sure I'm very jealous.
If you can hear me, I think the last part of that got chopped off.
Mm. Go
Can hear
ahead
you now.
and refresh yourself because you're looking a little laggy.
Been a little bit laggy since we started, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Nixon Keld.
I think since we walked around together, she'll ask him, so do you think he's going to use those tuning forks again? Or do you think if we ask nicely enough, he'll give them to us or let us borrow them instead of making our own?
It's really not looking like he's going to be using them anytime soon.
Right.
So maybe if we ask.
Maybe if you ask, and then if he's like, I could then offer to maybe try to help regrow some things in the morning.
Mm.
I could try. I don't know if it'll work. I could try.
Yeah, it might be a touchy subject, but you can ask in the morning for sure.
Worth offering. We can see if Roshan thinks we should ask for them, but they're there. They were right there.
We saw them.
Mm-hmm.
He's not using them, so
Exactly.
maybe he'll lend them to us.
Mm-hmm. But I think you should ask. Or Roche. I don't think I should ask.
Okay. Why not?
I think it just comes off a little weird sometimes when I ask for people for things.
Mm.
I can try.
I don't mind asking.
Okay.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Are you going right now?
Wait.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'll listen from like around the corner or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, Nyx,
Keldor
roll
goes.
stealth.
It's like.
With my +2. 12.
Okay. You sidle up like behind the door frame. Keld, you walk into the lounge area where Shelvediro is having another drink and sort of like raises their eyebrow in your direction as they see you are not like walking through to get to like the
Mhm.
stairs or like go outside, and you kind of stop in the space.
Loom. No. I think Keld will, I guess, sit down for a minute. So we noticed you had quite a few tuning forks.
Yes.
Is there a chance you might be willing to lend one to us? It might be very useful in our current endeavors.
Keld, go ahead and roll persuasion for me.
14.
Okay. So currently, you and I have just met. And I feel that I have provided quite a lot. And the thing is, if you use it and you die, then I don't get it back.
There is that.
Do you see where I'm coming from? As I assume if you do go there, you will more than likely die. And I have already lost one tuning fork. So losing another one is not my biggest prerogative currently.
That's fair. It seemed like a bit of a over ask. I honestly am not sure what. I'm not sure what going to another realm is going to do for us, so I just thought it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Well, you received your answer, I suppose. They stay in their display.
So they stay.
And thank you for dinner. It was very nice.
Glad you liked it.
That's from her hiding point. Nyx, you don't think he's noticed you. You think you are expertly
So
hiding.
stealthy.
You're
So
incredibly
stealthy.
stealthy. You're pretty sure that you got away with whatever you were doing, which was listening in. Sounds like it's a no-go for just asking for the forks.
So I can offer to trade in the morning.
Okay. Keld, are you backing down, or did you have anything else you wanted to talk to Shelvediro about? With your 14, he's not like stopping conversation like he did with the Nat 1. So it seems like the door's still open, but if it was not good enough to get one of those tuning forks.
Hmm. I don't think he's going to invade anymore.
Okay. Eventually, you two, I suppose, meander upstairs to the room you all are going to share, the one with the ceiling.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Roshan, I will tell you, just so you know, um, taking notes on this topic in particular in this setup is not like a casual thing. Um, it would be uh, a level of exhaustion if it were the whole night. Neat. Um, he's he's a little busted, but we still love him. Um,
I can hear you, and I think Roshan would definitely like take a level of exhaustion for this.
okay. All right. You can take your level of exhaustion then as the night progresses. Nyx and Keld, you set up shop in this room. Um, it is that awkward sensation of climbing into a bed that has not been used in a very, very long time. Just like that stiff discomfort from like all of the fabrics. Uh, but it's not a forest floor, which honestly, they're almost even at this point. It's kind of even in this breezy room. Um, but if nothing else of note that you guys would like to accomplish, uh, Nyx and Keld, you settle in for bed. Roshan, you hear a voice in your head. Rose's voice calls out, "Go outside, look up."
Concerning, but Roshan will do that.
Okay. Roshan makes his way down the stairs and goes outside.
And
And
can he hold
Mhm.
his reply to the sending until he's looking up in the sky?
No.
Okay. He's got some extra spell slots, so if he needs to text her back, he can.
Okay. You head out. If I need to text, I will. Um, you head outside and look up at the sky. And it something does feel strange. Something about it seems wrong. A sensation, chills on the back of your neck, goosebumps on your arms. And maybe it's because you stepped out of a slightly warmer home into a chilly night air, but staring up at the sky, you watch as one of the stars blinks out. The sky seems empty. And you stare at it for a long moment. And occasionally, a light will blink out.
Um, I think he would go back inside and listen if anyone is still awake at this point.
I would say at this point, all right, 50-50 for Shelvadiro being awake because Nyx and Keld are out. Shelvadiro's up.
Um, Roshan will move to them in a hurry and be like, my sister alerted me to a celestial event, and I'd really like your opinion on it. Can you come look at the sky with me?
Uh, Comfy from his spot that he had stayed in the lounge, they push themselves up, a twinkle of curiosity in the eye, uh, grab a bit of a coat on the way out, and they'll follow you outside.
And Roshan will crane his neck and look straight up. And you can't really point it out, but once it happens, he'll ask if Shelley saw that.
You wait for a while, and a light blinks out. Shelvedero makes their way back inside.
Is the action unconcerned?
There seems to be some alacrity to it.
Okay, then Roshan will follow, and I think there's an assumption on my part that Shelley is going to go look at the map.
You follow in, and Shelvedero does go to that room, and you watch it goes over and pulls a different section of the fabrics, pushing it to the side, and you watch it shimmer and change, and it is the stars, and not exactly the stars you recognize. And Shelley begins to look over this, and then kind of goes around you and out of the room again, and is moving with pace. Goes over to a desk in another room that seems a bit abandoned. uh, Starts pulling out books and books and books, um, all of them in the same handwriting as he flips through these pages, these tomes, um, and keeps stopping on uh, the followings of the stars, a star map. I think we are looking at some bleed over. How interesting.
Do you mean that our stars are bleeding over to somewhere else?
Oh, no. I believe the sky of Soppelheim is bleeding over onto our sky a bit. They don't have stars. But they do have.
Um,
I
concerning.
Yeah, it's not that they don't have stars. It's there is something in their sky. I'm not sure if it's debris, but it does not move like stars. And there's much less of it than in our sky.
Well, if I find out what it is in my travels, I will be sure to know or sure to tell you. And if you find out, uh, would you also please let me know? Um,
Uh,
and if neither of us figures it out by the time my business is concluded, perhaps we can figure it out together.
mm, I will do my best. I will say, things like this do happen on occasion. It is not incredibly far-fetched that this is just a naturally occurring phenomena, that there is bleed over in the sky at this time, um, though I am currently tracking the minutes on it, and if we wake in the morning and there is a difference in the morning sky, um, then that is an incredibly long time for this bleed over to have taken place, and maybe there is a problem.
good to know. Is there? I mean, I won't be able to sleep now. So, if is there anything you want me to keep an eye on while I peruse your maps?
Well, it'd be hard to tell if there was panic. So if something seems strange to you, you're welcome to call me, but I'm not sure my map will be able to provide in that way. Something subtle like that. If something were to change dramatically, you would probably be able to notice that and could certainly tell me.
Will do. Sorry for keeping you up this late.
No, it's fine. Um, Also, my assumption is that their celestial bodies are bones from gods, glowing brightly. Magic. That's my assumption. Uh, so if you do head back outside and you are able to pinpoint one of these stars that has bled through, um, compared to our own, not the easiest to distinguish, but if you're able to see one, you can tell it's not the same.
Thank you. And I think Roshan will spend basically the rest of the evening split between the map room looking at the stars and outside looking at what we've got for stars. And I think he would at some point just casually ask out if this is something the shadow has seen before or if they're just kind of watching on in awe like him.
Uh, you are definitely perceiving another entity watching with great interest. The shadow has been just very quiet and like very kind of staying behind the scenes, but feels present to you, not like it was when you were in the woods and had lost that connection, but just seems to be staying quiet, introspective, and now I suppose very outrospective as they stare at the sky with you. Um, Go ahead and roll me investigation real quick.
13 plus 10, 23.
Okay. You are also able to pick up on the difference between the stars and the debris, as Shelley referred to it, that hovers above the trash. Uh, there is a difference in hue. They are dimmer. They don't shine as brightly. And looking at them for extended periods of time is unsettling. Once you find one, you are unsettled looking at it and um, are kind of, there is a moment of relief when it kind of fades out of view. But you spend your time doing this. You also realize that you have currently with you 2 out of 3 shadows.
Is it Shadow Prime and Odin?
It is Shadow Prime and other one, not the female one.
Okay. Um, wonder where I lost her. Wonder if she's keeping an eye on Nana from how I guess we're closer than we haven't been at parts today, but still not that close.
Yeah, no, you guys are not very close. But who knows? Um, but you spend your evening going between maps, and there is a moment where you go inside, you're looking at something for an extended period of time. You go back outside and you are presented with your night sky.
I think Roshan will just take good notes on that and then plan to share those with Rose in the
Okay. And eventually the sun rises on a pretty normal presenting sky. Nix and Kel, you get a full night's rest. Rashawn, you have a level of exhaustion. Um, any game plans in the morning?
I think I have to go scry on Sunny with a map near me.
Okie dokie. You head immediately to the map with your newfound information, and you are going to attempt to scry on Sunny. Now, I would say you don't really know Sunny, do you?
I wouldn't say I'm at the know them well.
Yeah.
So at the 0 for that.
Okay. So
So
what is the
flat
DC?
20.
Flat 20. Okay.
Yeah. It's easy.
Okay. Now, flat 20. This seems like a pretty important role. Being given a chance. This is if Sunny is no longer on your plane of existence. If not, you don't know if this will work at all to even try and like see her if she was right next to you. This is very purposefully through these silks. And as you begin to try to make your way downstream, you are pulled aggressively in directions. Like you are no longer leading yourself down this very calm stream. You are pulled by a force that is leading you forward, trying to accomplish something. Okay. You move on these fabrics like waves. And there is an immediate sense of vertigo. There is a nausea that takes place. There is a sensation of uh, discomfort as you are pulled through the plains, as you are pulled into a different realm, as you are experiencing water you have not experienced and air you have not experienced. You are in a place fully unknown to you, and it is disorientating, as if you have fully flipped upside down and are trying to catch your breath. The blood rushes to your head, and you see a woman, blonde hair, pulled back in not as neat of ponytails as you've seen it before. The ponytail had grown loose. Pretty face, now marked with a scar that runs from her chin to her temple. You can see she paces back and forth, back and forth. When she kind of sneers a bit as she looks over at something, and you can see that following the scar across her face, there is a divot as the sword had cut into her tooth a bit, and you can see where it left a mark there as well. She looks tired. She looks anxious, bored. She is stuck in place, and the grass is a beautiful green. You don't see any snow. She paces around. She steps next to a tree. Beautiful and familiar. White bark, purple leaves, but in no town you've ever seen, just growing in the wild. She stands by it and just takes a moment, gets disgruntled, makes her way over, and stops next to a woman with tan skin, head shaved smooth, pointed elven ears, uh, kneeling in the grass, hands placed gently on it, eyes closed. I hate to rush you, but I'm going to rush you. How much longer? He watches Alvilda raises a finger and then places it back down. And you see Sunny, once again disgruntled, make her way away from Alvilda and begins to pace and move. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
25.
25, okay. You basically just get to watch Sunny do nothing, is really the scenario. The sun seems to be shining brightly. She moves her way through the space, growing more and more agitated. She steps a bit far, and you can see more than the grass. You can see a ledge. And you kind of wait for Sunny to take just a little step closer, just to get a little more eyes on something. And she stares out kind of into the abyss that you are not able to see. And she takes a step, and you can see what almost looks like shadow of something that is not visible to you in this crevasse over this ledge. Moving vines and tendrils, dark and pressing against the sides of this flat. And Sunny stares down at one. You can see that they're incredibly close to this ledge. And you can see where one near her foot like digs into the soil but makes no mark. It's as if it's real and it's not at the same time. It is visible, but it is making no tangible physical difference in the space. And as she crouches down and leans forward, you can see that it's just, at least from this periphery that you have, you cannot see like a break in these vines, in these tendrils. And she stares out at them. I'm ready, let's go. You hear a voice from behind Sunny. And Sunny stands up, looks and watches as somebody moves past her, and then follows behind. And you are pulled from the vision.
Great. Yeah, why not? We'll use the other one that I have available for the day to
Hell
try to
yeah.
keep following her.
Okay. It was a success.
Succeeded
after
once.
all.
It was. I'm allowed to.
I said that, didn't I? I said
Mhm.
that with my words, didn't I?
This silk allows it.
It's the silk. That's what it is. Okay. You perk up, and immediately it's like head back down again. And you are pulled aggressively once again through these silks. And the nausea had not faded, ergo, it only increases and gets worse. You once again look at Sunny as it seems they are moving at like a solid jog. They are moving quickly and forwards. You catch glimpses of that ledge. They seem to be running along it. Go ahead and roll me a luck check.
That is cocked. Okay. 2.
Mm. Sadly, you just kind of get to watch Sunny run for about 10 minutes.
Nice.
Go ahead and give me survival. I'll give you advantage because of your really good perception check earlier.
It's 21.
Okay. At minimum, you don't know how things work in the other planes, but you feel like you at least could say a cardinal direction, you know?
Mm,
If you were in that spot, you think you could say a direction. There is something very familiar about what you are looking at, though. Something that tickles at the back of your mind as familiar. You can only assume that they are traveling through the trash, as it were.
So you said I could tell a general direction, like north, south, or only if I was there?
Yeah. If you were there, if you could situate yourself to where Sunny was, you could orientate yourself to know a direction.
Okay. All right. I think after getting out of this scry, she's going to be sitting on the ground, waiting for the nausea to pass,
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately looking at this map to try to attempt look for the spot that she kind of thinks it might be.
Okay.
Like, we're looking for cliffs of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Are you going at it alone, or are you calling in the cavalry? Or you're like, I'm on it. Detective Nick's on the case.
I think she'd call in the people.
Jet 80, everyone.
Roshan already there.
Roshan's been there the whole time.
It's
Hey.
like, oh.
Roshan
Oh,
vibrates into
startled.
the space.
Nyx jumps and touches the map on accident.
Oh shit. Everyone gasps. Yeah. The 3 of you are in the space. Nyx, do you give the
The
heads
whole
up?
rundown.
Yeah, everybody gets the details. Whoever wants to is welcome to look at the map. It would probably be I'd take survival or investigation. I think those would be my 2 requests.
I got 10 in one of those. Does anyone have higher?
Mine's a +5 for survival, so.
All right, I will investigate. And I think Roshan would pay close attention to first the valley between the divide and the continent after what she said, because that was kind of filled with some vines the last time we were there. But then if that's not fruitful, then he'd probably look at the Cliffs of Freya. And that is a 19 plus 10, so 29.
I don't even think you need the roll, girly. Roshan feels pretty confident. Like there is a chance he could be wrong, but like from the description, that's your best bet.
Know where they're at least there. For now.
It's just frustrating that we don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're moving.
I'd ask Shelly to keep an eye on it, but I don't even know what to look for.
I mean, it looks like they're planting more of those trees there too, or unless those already exist there, not really sure.
Where do they
Well-
exist? Hmm.
We can ask Shelly, and maybe we can just have them let us know if anything changes around the divide.
Right. Let's go find him.
Shelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shelly's
Come on,
downstairs in the
team.
lift.
He's in the
We
lounge.
have a
Let's go,
guess.
boys.
He's having a hot toddy.
Is he already drinking? That's the question.
They probably are.
Oh, yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. So the group that we're following, they keep planting these trees. She'll describe them, and they have planted at least one over there, unless those grow there naturally. It's kind of their way of traveling.
Oh,
Uh,
the type of tree you're describing does grow there naturally.
oh, interesting. Well, they're planting those here. Those are the trees that we were talking about yesterday.
Interesting.
And she'll give him the whole rundown of what she saw. She does. There's no secrets here.
Well, I would assume that's very useful information for you. I'm glad to have been assistance.
Thank you so much again for letting us use your map. And I didn't ask again last night, but was there a copy of your book that I could purchase from you?
I have a copy. I can go pick it up.
And Roshan will overpay and give like
Shelley
10 gold.
does not take any money from you.
Wow. I think Roshan is afraid to ask Shelly to sign it, but is just really chuffed at this new book.
Maybe it's already signed. Huh?
He signs every single book. He's like, no. These are my books.
How else will people know who wrote it?
Is there anything else before you guys leave, Shelly?
Yeah. I think Nyx has been staring awkwardly at him the whole time, trying to figure out if the spell would work on him or not.
You stare at him, kind of assessing his injuries, and your eyes kind of scan up, and he is very much staring at you, staring at him.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to gesture to Kelda. So I grew back his hand a couple days ago, and I'm trying to figure out if I could do the same for you in some way.
I appreciate the thought. I do not think you will be able to.
I could try. I could still try though if you want.
I think it is a fruitless venture that would only result in, I think, the folly of hope in some way, even though I know it will not work.
You could like close your eyes and pretend nothing's happening, and then if nothing's changed, you will never know if I tried or not.
Quite right. That's how it would work.
Mhm.
I'll just look away, and you can
Right.
decide if you do it or not.
Sounds great. She's gonna try. Either
Honestly,
way.
he looks away. Both of you very aware that you're going to try.
No matter
Um,
what.
You got it, best.
She doesn't save spells.
Spells are
Who
for
do you think she
losers.
is?
You begin casting this spell. Ice beginning to make its way over Shelvadiro's body, something that anyone would 100% notice is happening to themselves.
Yeah.
No, Nyx is like, good thing they aren't looking. They'll never know. Um, but you take the time, a moment passes, the ice fades away, and there is no change.
Hmm.
And we'll never know.
Never know. I'll keep working on it, and if I think it's even better, I will come back and try again to find out then
Of course.
if it'll work.
You watched Shelly go through like a series of confusing emotions that they just seem confused by. And they kind of glance over at the group, kind of like from Roshan to Kel to Nyx, just a bit of a mumble, and pull a chain out from around their neck with a key on it, and like take it off and like set it down on the counter. If you die and do not return my tuning fork to me, I am going to be incredibly upset.
Okay, she'll hand it to Keld. He's the only one that doesn't die out of us, usually, so Keld's in charge. Roshan has died at least once in my presence.
Have you died in his presence?
Yes, but that was my own fault,
Mm,
and I
it
no
always is.
longer wear strange jewelry because of it.
Oh, see, you learn. I think that's a good thing to learn. Keld, you are able to make your way back to the display and look over these tuning forks. And lucky for you, they are labeled.
Thank God.
Pressed into metal below them. You do see that it looks like one of these labels has been like removed, one on the edge that you didn't notice before until opening and like taking a closer look. It seems a label was removed and there is like nothing hanging above where it was.
So something seems to be missing.
Yes.
I guess. What do I see?
You see one for Suppelheim. You see one for Midgard. And you see one for Muselheim. And you see one for Asgard. The only one missing is Ruvenheim. And if I said it was there, I lied. Because I was just looking at a list and was reading words.
I don't think you
Lists
said
all
it,
of them.
so-
And you are able to return back to the group. This beautiful, like, light silver tuning fork. It looks to have runes and like the beginning of vines, growing saplings at the bottom of the tuning fork. Very nice, very expensive for a tuning fork. If you die, I'm going to be very upset. I want that understood. Not because I care for you, but because this is expensive.
Understood.
We'll bring it back.
Appreciate it. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I
you've helped
think you've
us
given
quite a
us plenty. Thank you again so much for your help. I don't know how much it matters or how much it affects you, but you may have saved the world by helping us. At least I'd like to think you did.
Mm. Well, I appreciate the sentiment. And there's probably a time where that sentiment would have meant something to me. But that's not your fault.
We'll be back with your
Oh, good.
fork.
Ah, good, yes. Changes tune. Yes. Return my fork, please.
Don't you forget it on the hook over in Soppelheim.
Keld, you return the key to Shelvediro, and with a probably awkward and brief goodbye, all of you begin to make your way outside and begin trekking back to town, I suppose, um, to check up on Rose, who you just unleashed into this town. Um, I'm sure everything's good there. As the three of you make your way out,
A cloud of black smoke in the distance.
yeah, it's like, oh no, Rose,
The town's
no,
gone.
What's she
Rose.
done?
She's having a good time.
At least I'm glad she had a good
Girls
night.
just want to have fun, you know?
Exactly. Meanwhile, the previous evening, two rangers and their new friend make their way quietly, as quiet as they can, through the woods. You eventually come across a clearing where the trees are a bit more sparse as you have entered into a denser area of the forest. Nothing claustrophobic like the brushwood or anything like that, but at least dense enough to easily move from tree to tree. In this clearing, you see carts in varying levels of dishevelment. You would assume, just from looking at them, if you were handed a flashcard, it would be bandit attacks. And you can see also there is a smattering of tents, some of them caved in by snow. It is eerily quiet. It is so quiet in this space. It is the sound of your breath and the crunch of snow underfoot as you slowly move to the outskirts of this clearing. I would love one more stealth check. And if you're not involved in this scene, could you please mute yourself? OBS picks up on every single itty bitty sound because she loves it.
Are we still in our favored terrain?
Yes, you are still in your favored terrain. I would say that also Babe still has her ability, so she can roll with a straight check. Okay. What do we
25
got?
for me.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
No, it's not nice. I got a 4 and
I
a
was about to
5.
say, all of you went down from your last ones, but
Yes.
not bad rolls, just lower
No.
than your stealthing through the woods. This is
Mm.
stealthing at the edge of a clearing. Different.
Similar, but not the same.
Similar, not the same. As you sort of stop and linger at the edge, Yarn, you can tell the whole time, has a heavier step than you, is doing her damnedest, and is actually like hanging back a little bit and is trying not to be super close to you guys, but like
Mhm.
she's just not as stealthy as you are. And when you stop, she stops and kind of like leans against a tree and sort of like kind of sits basically so that she
Okay.
can't like shuffle from foot to foot, and just sort of like
Okay.
leans around to watch.
Okay. It's fair.
And you all stare at this clearing and then crunch. You watch on the far end a hooded figure move into camp, cloak drawn up around themselves, slow, labored steps, moving towards where in the center of camp there probably would have been a fire that was once burning, slowly walking towards it. As they get closer, they reach out, and the knees buckle, and the figure falls silently into the snow, face turned in your direction, pale and unblinking.
Does this individual remind me of the old woman that attacked us not very far outside of one of the villages very shortly after we got on this side of the continent? I'm afraid I can't remember her name right now, but
I mean, you are convinced you are staring at a dead body. It does not seem to have, from this distance, you do not see corruption about it. You think this was probably a living person now, 10 seconds ago.
Are there any other
Jesus.
signs of life in or around this camp?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Say 23.
Okay. From your vantage point, you can see there is a similar cloak blowing gently in the wind, a piece of it visible behind a tent. You can see that in the openings of one of the tent, you can see a boot sticks out just enough to be seen. Everything quiet and unmoving.
What happened here?
You can hear Yarn shuffle a bit behind you and has like gone up onto her knees and has begun to pray. But it does have like a very comforting undertone to it, being presented with death in this space.
Nana would like to try and... Now, these people are cloaked and hooded. Are we safe in assuming these are cultists? Folks that we've been out to find, or are
The
these
one
just
you
folk
can
in traveling
see,
cloaks?
the cloaks seem familiar. The one that you can see the most clearly does not seem to have hair on their head.
Okay, all right. Okay. Nana would like to... I think maybe make use of a detect evil and good, I think. To see if there's any undead that are currently moving about outside of our immediate range of sight. If we're in the woods 30 feet in any direction is going to be
Okay.
a bit difficult to perceive.
All right. You take a moment to reach out, and it's not an incredibly far reach, but this is your favorite terrain. There is a connection to it, and you take the time to listen. And when trying to detect the undead, it is a perpetual thing in this space. There is almost no chance, unless perhaps you were up in the sky, that you could avoid even just like the tiniest pieces of feeling corruption, feeling the undead. But you know what that feels like, that just gentle hum of unlife, which is apparent to you and you can feel in this moment. And you keep leaning forward, trying to get like every inch you can, trying to get as close as you can to this person, um, trying to get as close as you can to this camp. There's a loud crack, and you feel something surge in your mind, as if your senses are blinded for a moment as you sense the feeling of death around you. You watch as light emanates from a tree. The branches of this tree, twisted emblems of Yord, swing from it gently as the trunk cracks open, glowing brightly. You can see the silhouette of a figure stepping through. The figure is dressed simply. There is a cloak whipping behind them in the wind, revealing a harness around their chest, and a bow and quiver strapped to the sides. One arm cut short below the elbow, cheeks sunken, skin pallid, though their skin, pale and waxy almost, is now marred with black markings that start from beneath the chin, as if there are roots growing from an ichor-soaked arrow that is lodged beneath the mouth. The guard. Bosch, the chosen of Yord, a cult leader, a child killer, a world ender, steps into the space and walks to the center of the campsite alone. You wait.
Nana wants to see what he's waiting for. He seems to be in anticipation of something. Nana will make a motion towards Fen and Yarn, just like, give it just a minute. But she's also like being very careful about having her short sword and dagger at the ready.
Fenn's gonna gesture subtly as he can towards his quiver.
Okay. You watch as Bosch makes his way to the center of the clearing and gives the area a quick scan. Okay. Bosch stops in the center, close to this body on the ground, probably still warm, and pulls out a glass orb lined in runes of copper. Holds it aloft and gingerly releases, and you watch as the orb stays and kind of spins slightly in place. You watch as Bosch sinks to the ground and digs his fingers into the snow-covered soil. Lays their head back. You watch the eyes then begin to roll into the back of his head. And you hear the crunch of snow and the shuffling of fabric. And the body in the center who had fallen moments ago, you watch as their back arches ever so slightly off of the ground, movement beginning to take place. And you watch as the body then caves in on itself, crumpling like a piece of discarded parchment, and begins to just move in on itself, dense. And you watch as these other bodies begin to slowly drag through the snow and meet in the center to meet the same fate. It's about 10 bodies that are pulled from different places, dragged through the snow, crushed, condensed into an unrecognizable mass. Bosch pulls their hand, shaking, from the dirt and reaches out, and you watch as the gore grows small enough to hold in his hand. And he raises it towards the orb. And you watch as this dark, warbling mass is pulled screaming into its glass coffin. It screams, a hiss like a kettle going off after it has grown hot enough. It is then followed by ear-ringing silence, and the glass orb, now swirling black like smoke, falls gently into the snow. You watch as Bosch now stumbles unsteady on his feet and begins to spit blood into the snow, which you watch is pulled towards the orb and pulled inside as he tries to right himself, but seems lost for a moment, coughing up blood in this space.
If he is distracted, I think Nana glances towards Fen. I think it's obvious to him, knowing her as long as he has. She's debating whether this is the moment to stop this, or if we need more strength on our side to make this a decisive enough blow to make it matter.
Is the tree still open?
The tree is closed.
Fenn's just going to shake his head subtly, very slightly.
Nana will nod her head very slightly and just sit and observe. She wants to find out everything she can about what Bosch is doing as best as she can, or memorize the movements, the symptoms, everything she can about this so that she can bring that knowledge back to the team and make it matter.
Okay. You watch as, after a moment, it seems he is able to take breath again. And he reaches into the snow and picks up this orb. And you watch as the last bit of his blood sort of follows, kind of like a magnet, up and into it. And he walks back to the tree that he came through.
Are we in a position such that we might be able to see where he winds up, or a good view of where his portal is opening?
You can do your best.
Nana would like to try and get an angle on that. And if I need to roll stealth to do that quietly, Nana is not trying to tip Bosch off here.
I mean, from where you are certain to get some angle. It's maybe not the best angle, but there is still a chance.
Okay.
Bosch goes, and he watches the tree once again prise itself open, bright light, turning him once again into a silhouette. And he turns and looks back at you. And he smiles. And he steps through the tree, which closes behind him. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. If you want to see more of that story, you can head over to youtube.com/the Dice Cult if you'd like to know how we got here, and maybe watch some other shows if you're like, if you're like, if you're like cool or whatever. I don't know. You can follow us over. You can follow us at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow all of us at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. Maybe there's a picture of Shelvadiro for next week, and you can take a gander at that. Thank you again for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. You can go to the chat or the box below to get some beautiful storytelling dice, and we will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.